Café Anyway. Here we are, Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley.
It's Mike's Daily Podcast.
This is the last place on earth, somewhere in Ameritopica, and it's FF episode 2793, 2793.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I'm Mike Matthews. Hey, it's a time where we're getting ready for something that's cool. So go tell your friends Sal and Freddie about a big eclipse. It's coming soon, where the sun will be clipped ever so much by the moon. Hey, it's called an eclipse, and that's basically what it is.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And then Laura Branigan comes out. Oh, no, wait, she's gone. She passed away. Bonnie Tyler comes out, not Bonnie Raitt.
Mike's
Bonnie Tyler comes out
Daily
and sings I Need You More Tonight.
Podcast.
And I Need You More Than Ever.
Yeah!
And if you only hold me tight, you'll be holding on forever. And that's lyrics by Jimmy Steinem, who's gone. He's also passed away. And he was good friends with Meatloaf. And Meatloaf did a bunch of his songs like I Would Do Anything for Love, but I Won't Do That. And he passed away. So in remembrance of all those wonderful people, we'll be checking out the solar eclipse. And keep an eye on your eyes. Don't look directly at the thing. If you're in one of those areas where you'll be able to see it. We'll be able to kind of see it here in California. Not so much. A total solar eclipse is driving big hopes for tourism and consumer spending. In the areas in the direct path of the event, the moon will pass between the Earth and the sun for only a few minutes, happening April 8th, plunging parts of 13 states into darkness. And then I heard today people are worried there's going to be a lot of clouds, so there'll be darkness anyway. You won't be able to see it that well. Although I remember some of the clouds helped that last big eclipse we had. Was that almost 10 years ago? Maybe 7? And I did the bad thing and looked at it, and I turned away real quick. I'm like, you're not supposed to do this. But a lot of people, because it was happening when I was at work, a lot of people brought those solar glasses.
And here's today's podcast picture.
And they were people that didn't work for the company I worked for. They worked for the health people across the hall. Who is it? Like Sutter Health or Kaiser, one of those organizations across the hall. So the podcast picture is not of the eclipse, but of a very cool sight that I saw after the sunset in Podcastro Valley, one of my cool pictures. It's a podcast picture, as every podcast has one. And you can see every one of mine, by the way. And you can see that at mikesdailypodcast.com. And that guy right there was in the last podcast picture, the late, great Basil the Boxer. And I don't know if he ever witnessed an eclipse. I know he witnessed the moon, and I pointed out to him, and then of course he'd turn away real quick because dogs don't really care about that kind of thing. Wolves now. Wolves. They will bay at the moon. They'll bay in the East Bay near Podcastro Valley. 4 million people are going to travel to somewhere within the zone of totality, as they call it, totality. And they will spend $400 to $500 each. Yes, so the people, the places along the way are hoping to go cha-ching. Hotels are booked solid. What is this, a Taylor Swift tour? Hotels are booked solid in Dallas, Indianapolis, Cleveland, and Rochester. Oh, and speaking of Basil,
the word of dog.
It's barking at the moon now. I stand corrected. Hotels and restaurants are offering eclipse weekend packages. Expect spending on dining out, rental cars, watch parties, souvenirs. People are going to spend money on all that. A watch party, that sounds interesting. Restaurants are going to get a $685 million boost from the eclipse. And retailers selling stuff like t-shirts. I went to see the eclipse and I'm blind. And all I got my son was this stupid t-shirt. Retailers are going to get a $1.1 billion boost. And short-term rentals and hotels Yes, those places. Be Airbnbs and VRBO, and you've got BO. Ooh, you stink. Oh.
Mike's Matthewsman Park.
The front panel will close automatically. Please remain seated at all times.
Yes, this show is an amusement park. A amusement park of roller coasters and fun. But the short-term rentals and hotels and all that to places to stay the night, those places are gonna make $810 million, almost $811 million from this eclipse. And direct spending is gonna total about $1.6 billion to $2 billion. People spending money on the eclipse. The added income is gonna benefit service people, and the benefits that they get it should go to $6 billion. Not exactly a tourist hotspot, but Indiana anticipates 500,000 people are going to travel to the state. And Indianapolis. I know. Indianapolis, there's the car racing. And I have not been there, but I hear the car racing is really big there. From someone that used to live there. Well, hey, you can reach me at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com and tell me what's unbelievably wonderful about Indianapolis and Indiana. But hey, Gmail, 20 years old. It turned 20 on April 1st. It was launched on April Fool's Day, 2004, and it offered an entire gigabyte of storage, which was an unbelievable...
Daily Haley. Almost Daily Haley.
A shout out to all of you named Haley, or anything that has Hay or Lee in it. Maybe your name is Lee. Maybe your name is Hay. Maybe your name is Yay. Or Bay. Hey. There's my shout out to you. But an unbelievable amount. 1 gigabyte. Compared to the other email providers at the time, they were not offering that much. You'd have to delete your emails. As we go outside of Café Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Café Anyway, the last place on earth here in Ameritopica, with all of these topicas. I think I didn't open a Gmail. Anyway. Thank you. At Café Anyway. The first email I opened was a Hotmail account. That's right. I did get a Hotmail account initially through work, and then I somehow lost that. I think I changed the name on it. I think at one point I had a Hotmail that was reality TV is fake at hotmail.com, but it's long gone. And then didn't they change Hotmail to Outlook.com?
Mike's Out of Left Field Recordings.
Recording everything captures actions that will never again be repeated.
I know that's out of left field. But I still have the Yahoo account that I opened up before my Gmail account. And as I recall, the Yahoo account never overfilled. Whereas my Gmail always overfills. I'm always having to delete your wonderful emails that you send to me at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. But the Yahoo goes on and on, and it's wonderful. So, well, that April 1st launch date, along with Google's reputation for pranks, had many people thinking Gmail was another April Fool's gag. Gmail accounts were invite only, and so coveted that they were selling for up to $250 on eBay. Now Gmail has an estimated 1.8 billion users. It was so innovative at the time.
And now we return you to our regularly scheduled program with Mike Matthews.
Thank you, because you could seemingly hang on to emails forever. The storage, the 1 gigabyte, allowed users to hang on to 13,500 emails. At the time, Yahoo and Hotmail maxed out at about 60 emails. Oh, I didn't know that. I never maxed out. The idea that you could find an old email instantly was taken for granted, Well, it's taken for granted now. But at the time, Gmail was the only one that allowed you to search inside of your emails in Gmail. Like, what was that? I have no idea I have a vague idea what the topic was about. I think it was about Hawaii. And you just type in Hawaii and bam, you get it. That was not happening at the time. Yahoo stole it. Outlook.com stole it. Hotmail stole it.
Magnification.
They all stole it. But in the beginning, it was just Gmail that did it. Because Google's all about search. And they love the searching thing. Threading conversations save time previously spent bouncing among multiple emails. Now, Gmail said, hey, we're going to allow you to reply all and reply, and nobody ever gets that right to this day. Gmail, Outlook.com, none of them get it right with the threads. It gets too confusing. I never know what I'm responding to or replying all to, and then you're trying to find it, and it just I know it's in here somewhere. Once again, that's where the search comes in handy. The service Gmail rolled out an AI tool that can help you draft emails now and search your archive and improve security. That was part of the Gemini.
Mr. President, are you suggesting President Biden's using cocaine?
I don't know what he's using, but that was not, he was higher than a kite. And by the way, it was the worst address I've ever seen. State of the Nation. I'll tell you, State of the Union. That's not State of the Union because he doesn't represent us properly. That I can tell you.
This just in from a former president. The current president's on cocaine. So yeah, now there's AI tools that you can use in Gmail to help you, and and it helps improve security to search your archives. It's an interesting idea. I'm sure it'll become very helpful. I know. Yeah, I think that's what's Outlook as well. You try writing something, it finishes your sentence for you. Like when you're married and your spouse finishes your sentence for you. He actually thinks he's on cocaine. Okay. I've heard this from multiple people that are Trump supporters that are like, yeah, Biden's taking some kind of drug that gets them all up and going, woo! And then he loses steam. So it must be some kind of drug. It could be just coffee. Are you going to attack half the country for drinking coffee?
The Fascinating Material Project. FM Project.
I have to tell you, as a coffee drinker, and for a while, I was on the decaf. For almost 10 years, I was on decaf and never quite understood why I did that, except I felt caffeine was hurting my back. That I was feeling back pain because of caffeine. I never was able to prove it, but so I stayed away, never realizing that one of the best ways to help with fighting back pain is to actually exercise your stomach muscles and your core and not lift heavy things. Like there's a proper way to lift heavy things and be careful of what you're lifting, etc. And my father-in-law used to...
Marco Minute. The Marco Minute.
Let's just say his name was not Marco, but let's say, and it wasn't Polo either, but dang, he would get me into these situations where I'd always have to lift something really heavy and, hey, help me move this, help me move that, and I would really mess up my back because he had a terrible back. So I would do it for him and then it messed up my back. My point is that caffeine is a stimulant, and you hear all the studies about this and that and what it's good for, what it's not good for, and what you got to be careful of. And of course, if you drink a lot of coffee, you're not going to sleep well at night and you need your sleep. Thank you. It's Mike's State the Obvious podcast. So the point is that gold hit another record high and it was propelled by the U.S. interest rate cut expectations and the metal's appeal as a safe haven asset. Remarkably, gold has outperformed the S&P 500 since the start of 2022 when the Fed started raising interest rates. It's up 20%. compared with a 14.
Fine article.
You silly great fat article.
It is an interesting article because it's up 20% compared with a 14% rise in the stock market benchmark over the same period. It's doing better than the stock market. So, DiCaprio, the floating door from Titanic, sold for $718,750 at an auction.
Love you, Mike.
Thank you. Yes, the DiCaprio-less door. It is one of the most iconic props in all of cinema, since many fans argue that Rose could have simply scooched on over to make room for Jack as the ship went down. That all from Rob Black. I produce his podcast. He is on the radio station in the Bay Area, AM 1220 KDOW, in the 6 o'clock hour and 8 o'clock hour. Are you laughing because that's really early? It's prime time in radio. And then also it is Rob he's on the TV on Kron in the morning in the 9 o'clock hour. Oh, the new Empire stomped Godzilla Kong, the new Empire, whatever that movie is. It stomped all over expectations with an $80 million domestic opening, the second best part of the best start of the year. Wow, the second best. Right behind Dune Part 2.
Woo!
I see. Well, there you go. I have not really followed movies this year. Oh, and I guess that was also Legendary. Part of the Legendary film franchise people. Okay. Woo. All that fascinating stuff here on Mike's Daily Podcast. In the world where we learn things.
Kombucha.
Like that's a probiotic. According to TheWrap.com, it has been nearly 20 years since Legendary Pictures first entered into a film partnership with Warner Brothers. And that was with Batman Begins. That was Christopher Nolan's first movie having to do with Batman in 2005. Remember how well that went? And now, of course, they've got the Dune Part 2 and Godzilla X Kong, the new Empire. The fifth film in the MonsterVerse saga that began 10 years ago with Godzilla. Gareth Edwards was expected to earn a relatively modest 50 to 55 million domestic opening last Easter weekend, a result that would have required it to leg out to turn a meaningful theatrical profit against its $134 million budget, but it exploded to an $80 million start in North America and $194 million worldwide. So that's what that's all about. Fascinating. Outside of Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley,
you will travel into the incredible universe.
The last place on Earth. Look who is here. Hello, Mega Masters, Madame Rootabega, and I love going into the incredible universe. Ooh! Did you enjoy Godzilla? Yes. Did you enjoy the Dune movies? Yes. Do you like sand dunes? No. Oh, sand dunes. Yeah, they can be pretty sandy. Kind of hard to walk up, too. Look who else is here.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that? I do know that. And yes, now I have to tell you, I don't know why TikTok is not letting me upload videos, but it did let me upload 2 recently. It's weird. It gives me these weird windows where I can upload like a 1-minute piece of this podcast. And let's see if anybody listens, watches it, listens, whatever. But yes, I'm on there on TikTok at Mike's Daily Podcast is what it is, basically, or / Mike's Daily Podcast, however that works. # Mike's Daily Podcast. So,
Mike, you should not cave in and go on that terrible app D.
Yeah, it's evil. Do you know that? Oh, Okay. Well, thanks for explaining. I can't get onto Truth Social. Apparently, Truth Social, they say to you that if you're going to join Truth Social, you're a truth sayer. And did you hear today about, the guys that started it with Trump, they're getting sued for a bunch of different things. I forget what it was, but it had something to do with it was the insider trading that they did, or allegedly did.
It's me.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Do-Re me the clown.
That's right. Thank you, Do-Re. But what's interesting is that when I tried to open an account, it said, okay, give us a phone number. So I gave the phone number, which is the same one that I give at the end of this podcast. And it said, nope, we can't accept that phone number. So I said, well, whatever. I'll give you a couple other ones. None of them. Even legit ones. Well, the phone number at the end, the Café Anyway phone number is legit, but it was just not accepting any phone numbers. So I don't know if they shut it down or what. And the value of Truth Social has plummeted too. That from Newsweek today. And I can't find that article today, but I did hear, Trump media sues former Apprentice contestants and Truth Social co-founders to strip them of shares. And there was some kind of insider trading thing going on as well. The Cutting Corners Corner! That's right. We are cutting corners by not buying social media companies, because that can get you into all kinds of issues. Truth Social insider trading. 2 Miami area brothers plead guilty to insider trading involving Trump's Truth Social, is what that said on the Miami Herald on MSN. So securities fraud stemming from insider trading on that, with 2 guys, 152, 146, gosh, they're young, admitted in Manhattan federal court that they illegally used confidential information to make about $23 million by investing in Miami-based Digital World Acquisition Corp. before the public announcement of its merger with Trump Media and Technology Group. That's what it is. Okay. All right. Well, if you have any other interesting news that I might have missed that you would like me to share on the show in the segment Emails from Email and your common, not so comments, here's the number.
Call Mike at the Café Anyway hotline. Area code 510-228-4640.
Ginormous.
Magnificent.
And with more ways to reach me, it is A-Frame.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.